Good, and we are live. Console, we're live.
Alrighty. Shalom. Yahweh Bashim Yahushai broke a thumb to the brothers, a thumb Bashim Yahushai to the sisters. I'm priest and officer of Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Started out at 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding General YAHANNA. And since 1969, we have been giving back the history, the culture, the identity to so-called black, so-called Hispanics, and so-called Native Americans. And that is who they are according to the Bible, which are the Israelites, which are the 12 tribes of Israel, which are the real Jews of antiquity. And today is Wednesday. So everyone watching in Yonkers, everyone watching in Mount Vernon, Spring Valley, Nyack, Nanuet, Newburgh, Poughkeepsie, Beacon, wherever you are in the Hudson Valley, Rockland County, Westchester County, Putnam, Orange County, or all over the earth, no matter where you are, if you're so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American, today is Wednesday, which means the law class. And since this is June, which has been disgustingly turned into a Pride Month for the LGBTQ community, and whatever other letters they add on, we're going to be discussing and talking about the violence of the LGBT community,
Right.
the violence of homosexuals, the violence of lesbians, the violence of transsexuals, and it's in the Bible. These groups of people, these sexual deviants, are a violent group of people. They are a bunch of bullies, a bunch of murderers, a bunch of rapists, and we're going to read about it in the Bible. Because since the beginning of time, where man decided to commit sin and indulge in their own lusts, homosexuality, lesbianism, transgenderism has been a violent behavior. Let's go into the book of Genesis, and we're going to go to chapter, I believe is 19.
Come.
Go ahead, you can read.
From the very top.
Yes.
Genesis 19:1. And there came two angels to Sodom at even, and Lot sat in the gate of Sodom. And Lot, seeing them, rose up to meet them, and he bowed himself with his face toward the ground.
Now, if you've never heard of the Bible, which is kind of strange in 2021, you would be familiar with the places like Sodom and Gomorrah and the other cities in the surrounding areas that were running rampant with homosexuality, that were running rampant with lesbianism, that were running rampant with transgenderism, bestiality, rape, child molestation, pedophilia, all types of horrendous crimes that these, I believe it was Africans that were predominantly living in this area, Hamites, descendants of Hamites, they created and started this whole idea of men sleeping with men, women sleeping with women, being in a transgender and sleeping with another transgender, sleeping with animals, raping children, being a pedophile, raping people, and you can see it of Egypt. You can see it in the culture of Mesopotamia. You can see it in the cultures of the northeastern Hamitic / African tribes that were around, that were before Egypt and after Egypt, before it spread all over this earth. So-called Africans were the ones who created homosexuality. Now, these two angels visited this land of Sodom and Gomorrah because Abraham was begging God to save his nephew Lot, right? God was going to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah, and he basically made a deal with Abraham that if there was at least one person who was righteous, or one person that was good, that he would save them. And it ended up being Lot, if I'm not mistaken. Lot was the one living in this land who was not participating in the LGBT community, right? Just like every man, woman, and child in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge does not participate in anything belonging to the LGBT community here in America. So these two angels came to see Lot in Sodom. These two angels came to Sodom and Gomorrah. Lot spotted them, not knowing that they were angels. And what did he do?
And he bowed himself with his face toward the ground.
Lot bowed himself to his face towards the ground. Not because they were, not because he knew them, but because the people in Sodom and Gomorrah dressed like the homosexuals you see walking up and down Yonkers and Times Square and Harlem and in Nanuet. They weren't walking. They did not appear like the transsexuals that you see here in America. They weren't behaving like lesbians do here in America. They were dressed different.
Right.
They were acting different, which caused Lot to see them and know that they were different.
Right.
So he bowed to them because they were appearing righteous. All right, keep going.
2, and he said, Behold now, my lords, turn in, I pray you, into your servant's house and tarry all night.
Now Lot was basically asking them, begging them to come stay the night with him. And there's a reason for this. What happens? Have any of your family members ever told you that nothing good happens when the sun goes down, or nothing good happens after 3 a.m. in New York City? Right? About it?
I never heard that, but the street lights.
Basically, what happens is that criminals come out at night.
Right.
Criminals are more active during the nighttime. Just like the LGBT community. They come out at night. Right. And the reason why Lot is telling them to come into his house, because night is coming. And he knows in the cities of Sodom, Gomorrah, and the other areas that all hell breaks loose at night. He knows that the homosexuals go out on a prowl to indulge in sex with other men and raping. He knows that the lesbians go out on a prowl to have sex with other women and raping. He knows that the transgenders come out looking like men, looking like women when they're not, to trap people and kill people and rape them. He knows that there's child molesters out there looking to rape, rob, kill children. Right. He knows what's going on at night in Sodom and Gomorrah. Just like we know what happens in New York City when the lights go down. We know what happens in New York City when the sun sets. Right. The freaks come out. Right. The criminals come out. The bugs and the insects, every creepy crawly thing, every nasty thing, the evil comes out at night. right? And that's exactly what happens in Sodom and Gomorrah. So Lot wanted these two men to stay with him in his house for the night, so they would not be out there in the city doing all this horrendous activity, doing all this sexual deviancy that's about to take place at sunset. Keep going.
Come, sir. And he I prayed into your servant's house and tarry all night.
And he was saying, you come into my house, you stay there all night, I wash your feet, you get to take a bath. Keep going.
Wash your feet, and ye shall rise up early and go on your way.
And in the morning time, after when you wake up, because he knows, just like we know, when the sun comes up, the freaks go hiding. The criminals don't want to be caught in the daylight. Homosexuals, lesbians, and transgenders and child molesters, they don't want people to see them in their normal state. So they have to go out and hide. That's why we have a Pride Month in June, where they can come out 24 hours, 7 days a week for an entire month and not have to hide how disgusting they really are. Keep going.
Sir. And they said, nay, but we will abide in the streets all night.
Now these two men who are actually angels tell Lot, no, we're actually just going to stay and basically hang out and stay in the streets of Sodom and Gomorrah for the night. Now Lot knows that they're not from there. So he knows that these cats, they don't know what the hell's about to happen. When the sun goes down in Sodom and Gomorrah, they're going to be surprised and horrified at what they see and encounter. Just like here in America, especially in New York City, or in Atlanta, or in Miami, or in Los Angeles, or in Detroit, or in Chicago, or in Houston, right? You're going to see all the things happen, and you're going to be surprised of all the horrendous and horrible sexual deviancy you see taking place, right? Keep going.
Sir. 3, and he pressed upon them greatly.
And he was like, no, you guys have to come into my house. He kept begging them and getting at them and putting pressure onto them. Listen, you have to stay in my house. Keep going.
And they turned in unto him and entered into his house.
And they finally gave in to Lot's request. They finally gave in to Lot's pressure that he put upon them, and went with Lot into his house. Keep going.
And he made them a feast.
Now Lot had a feast prepared. Whether Lot made it himself or he had his wife and 2 daughters, which we'll find out later, make it for them. But either way, it's Lot's house. Whatever is done in Lot's house gets credited to Lot. So Lot had a feast made for everyone, especially these 2 men. Keep going.
And did bake unleavened bread.
And they all ate unleavened bread. Keep going.
Right. But before they lay down, the men of the city, even the men of Sodom, compassed the house round.
Now, after they all ate, after they all got washed up, after their so-called PJs, right? Getting ready for bed. Before they did that, the men of the city, the men of Sodom and Gomorrah, surrounded the house of Lot. Why would people just surround a person's house if they did not mean to cause harm? Right? Why come at night?
Right.
Why not come during the day? Why not come when the sun is still out?
Right.
But again, criminals come out at night. Sexual predators, which is what the LGBT community is filled of, come out at night. Child molesters, which is what the LGBT community is filled with, come out at night. Those who are victims of child molestation, who run rampant in the LGBT community, come out at night to cause pain to other people because pain was caused. Right? This is what is happening. Keep going.
Even the men of Sodom come to the house round, both old and young.
Both old homosexuals and young homosexuals. Both old transgenders and young transgenders. Old pedophiles and young pedophiles. Old child molesters and young child molesters. Old rapists and young rapists, because they all come together. A young boy doesn't grow up being a homosexual unless he was molested by an older man. A boy who's curious of his sexuality doesn't become a full-blown homosexual until he has relationships with an older man, which is still child molestation and rape, and then he becomes a full-blown homosexual. Young boys seek out older men. And that's one of the ways that they become homosexuals.
Right.
So you have both old and young homosexuals and transgenders and predators, child molesters, all together, circled round about Lot's house. All outside Lot's house. Not during the day, not during the afternoon, not in the morning, not in the late afternoon, but they all surround his house at night. Keep going.
Salahia.
The end of verse 4.
Johnson. All the people from every corner.
All the people from every corner, every part of the cities surrounded Lot's house.
Right.
Keep going.
5. And they called unto Lot and said unto him, where are the men which came into thee this night?
So they're all yelling to Lot from outside at night, banging on his door, asking Lot, where are those 2 men that we saw with you earlier today? Where are those 2 men that we saw you talking to in the street during the daytime? We heard that 2 strange people came into the city and they're in your house right now. Where are they? Keep going.
Come. Bring them out unto us.
We want you to bring them out. Those 2 men, come outside of Lot's house. Lot, escort those 2 men that you have in there outside. Bring them out. Keep going.
That we may know them.
What?
That we may know them.
What?
That we may know them.
There's something strange with wanting to know someone at 9 o'clock at night, at 10 o'clock at night, at 11 o'clock at night, at midnight, at 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., before the sun rises. Why choose that time to want to get to know someone? To ask them what their horoscope is? Why would you care what their favorite color and favorite sports team is at 12 o'clock at night, midnight? What's the point of asking them what their favorite fruit is at 1 in the morning? Why would you want to spend your time developing a friendship with someone at 10 p.m. and you've never met them before? You're nowhere near them. Maybe the whole get to know them isn't really what it means when you're just staring at these words. Now, I'm going to give you a little heads up. This whole get to know them doesn't really mean that they want to be friends. This whole get to know them means that they want to hurt these men. They want to cause violence onto these men. They want to rape these men. They want to have these 2 men that are in Lot's house. They will violate these men that are in Lot's house. Now you're going to ask, how do I know that? And we're going to find out as we continue to read. Keep going.
Count. 6. And Lot went out at the door under them and shut the door after them.
And Lot
after him. Sloppy.
And Lot decided to open the door, close it, come out, so that way he can speak and address these sexual deviants, these sexual predators, these rapists, these child molesters. He stepped out of his house, out of the comfort of his home at night to address these predators, these violent men, these disgusting people of the LGBT community. Keep going.
Counselor. And said, I pray you, brethren, do not so wickedly.
What?
Do not so wickedly.
He tells them, I pray you, brothers. What?
Do not so wickedly.
Listen, fellas, don't do what?
Do not so wickedly.
Lot is telling these homosexuals, these sexual deviants, these child molesters and rapists and sexual predators, don't be so evil. Don't be so wicked. Why are you trying to do these horrible things? I know what you want to do to these two men that are in my house. Why do you want to do that? Why do you want to cause harm to them? Why do you want to do such evil, disgusting, vile, abominable things to these men? Now, Lot knows better than we do because Lot lives in the city of homosexuals, Sodom, Gomorrah, and the other cities. He knows what these people are capable of. He knows the actions, behaviors, and mannerisms of these people. So Lot is telling these LGBTQ community members, don't do these evil things onto my guests. Keep going.
John. Behold, now I have two daughters.
Read it again.
Behold, now.
Stop. He goes, look, guys, I'll make a deal with you. If you don't be disgusting, filthy members of the LGBT community, if you decide not to be sexual predators and rape these men, if you don't do homosexual acts to these men, look, I'll make a deal with you. Keep going.
I have two daughters.
I have two daughters. Not one daughter, but two daughters. Not one female, but two females. You guys are all men. I have two women. Keep going.
Let me.
No. Which
have not known men.
And these two daughters of mine have never slept with a man. They don't have husbands. They're what we consider in today's age, quote unquote, virgins, because they never been with a man before. But I want you to look at the key word, not known man. Now think about it, right? How I instantly knew that they were virgins and didn't have any husbands because they had not known man. He's offering his two daughters who have not known man. He's offering his two daughters who have never slept with a man before. He's offering his two daughters who have never had sex before to these groups of homosexuals. Now let's go back up to verse 5, keeping in mind what it just said in verse 8, that his two daughters have not known men. They did not know men. They didn't have sex with men. They didn't sleep with men. Read the end of verse 5.
5. You said,
yes, the end of verse 5.
Bring them out unto us that we may know them.
That we may what?
Know them.
That we may what?
Know them.
That we may have what?
Know them.
That we may have sex with them.
Know them.
That we may sleep with them.
Know them.
These men wanted to have sex with the guests that are in Lot's house. These men wanted to sleep with the two guests that are in Lot's house. Now, these two men don't want to sleep with the LGBT community outside of Lot's house. You know what that means? When a woman doesn't want to sleep with a man and a man is angry at that, the man will rape her. And you know what happens here? These LGBTQ members, they're going to rape these two men. They want to rape these two men. They want to have forcible sex with these two men because no straight man, no man of God will willingly have sex with another man. That other man will forcibly put forced sex onto them. That violent man, that LGBTQ member, will force them to have sex, will rape them, will take them, right? So we now can fully establish and put two to two together and draw the conclusion that these men outside of Lot's house, these homosexuals and transgenders and sexual predators and rapists and child molesters, they want to have sex with the two men that are in Lot's house. And it's not going to be because everyone wants to. It's going to be by force. They're going to rape them. They want to rape them. Now go back down to verse 6. Verse 8.
8. Let me, I pray you, bring them out unto you, and do ye to them as is good in your eyes.
Now Lot is saying, listen, I have these two daughters. They haven't had sex with men before. They're virgins. Lot is trying to protect the two men that are in his house. And in the spirit of righteousness and brotherhood, he's trying to get these homosexuals, for once in their life, to be straight men. He's giving his daughters, who he helped raise, who he loves, he's willing to give up his daughters to these men, so that way two other men don't get sexually violated. So that way these other men don't commit greater sins and atrocities by sleeping with other men, by continuing that process. And he's risking a lot. He's giving up a lot. He's giving up two daughters, just so that way his two guests, the two men that are in his house, don't get raped, don't fall victim to molestation, don't fall victim to these disgusting sexual deviants and sexual predators of the LGBT community. Because the LGBT community is full of violence. It's full of hate. Right. It's full of bullying. And Lot knows this better than anyone else, because he lives in this city. Just like we in the I.S.U.P.K, we know this better than anyone else, because we know the violence of the LGBT community. We know the hatred that the LGBT community has for straight men and women, how they want to turn straight men and women into homosexuals and lesbians, how they want to force transgenderism and lesbianism and homosexuality onto straight men and women. And they don't care what it takes. They're going to do it by force, by rape, by bullying. They will make you accept them. And Lot knows this. Keep going.
Come.
Only unto
these men.
But unto these men, you can have my daughters. Have sex with them. Do whatever you want with them. But to these men that are in my house, do nothing to them. Don't harm them. Don't touch them. Don't try to have sex with them. Don't beat them. Don't rape them. Don't murder them after you're done raping them. Don't do nothing to them. Don't do no wicked acts to them. Don't be so wicked and evil to these men. Keep going.
For therefore came they under the shadow of my roof.
Because they're under my protection. I'm responsible for them. I'm the one taking care of them. Keep going.
9. And they said, stand back. And they said again, this one fellow came into sojourn, and he will needs be a judge.
And they tell Lot, hey, Lot, stand back, fall back, get out of our way. And they say, Lot came to this city to live. We didn't know him from nowhere. He came from somewhere out there. He came from somewhere else to come live in the city of Sodom and Gomorrah, right? And he does what?
To be a judge. Will needs be a judge.
And he thinks he's so high and mighty that he can judge us. He thinks he can pass judgment on us. He thinks he can tell us what we can and cannot do. Keep going.
So like if I may say,
go ahead.
What's it called? That's exactly like the LGBT community today.
Yeah.
Like what's it called exactly? You can't judge me for, how are you going to judge me for how I choose to use my body, how I choose to live my life?
Correct.
So on and so forth.
How dare you say I can't be a man and love another man.
Right.
How dare you say I can't be a man and want to be a woman?
Right.
How dare you say I can't go from being called from Alexander to being called Alexandria? How dare you say I can't be Max and transform myself into Maxine?
Right.
How dare you tell me I can't sleep with little children?
Right.
How dare you tell me I'm wrong for raping women, for
Right.
raping other men? That's what these disgusting sexual deviants and sexual predators of the LGBT community did back then, and that's what they say today.
Right.
Right? Keep going.
Count, sir. Now will we deal worse with thee?
Now we're gonna treat you worse. Keep going.
Than with them.
You thought we were gonna do bad things to them, huh? Well, guess what? We never liked you anyway, and we're gonna do worse things to you than to what we're gonna do to those men. Because you want to open your mouth, we're gonna treat you worse than how we're gonna treat those two men you have in your house. Keep going.
Salakia. And they pressed sword upon the men, even Lot, and came near to break the door.
And they all, just like good sexual deviants of the, just like faithful homosexuals, just like faithful transgenders, just like faithful child molesters and rapists, right? They all bum rush the door.
Yeah.
They all bully Lot. They all try to push Lot back into his house, to break down his door, to get into this house, to bring those people out, right? Keep going.
And they but the men put forth their hand and pulled Lot into the house to them and shut to the door.
And you know what these two men inside of Lot's house did? Because of the courage, righteousness, the display of absolute brotherhood that Lot had for total random strangers that are under his care, they opened the door and they grabbed Lot and they pulled Lot in to protect Lot, to get Lot sexual predators of the LGBT community, to take Lot away from the murderers of the LGBT community, to rescue Lot from the violence that runs rampant in the LGBT community. Keep going.
Counter. And they, Salakia. 11, and they smote the men that were at the door of the house with blindness.
Now, normally when you hear smoke, you think of kill. They just slay them, cut their heads off. But here, the two men, they caused blindness to instantaneously affect all these sexual monsters and savages and beasts that were outside Lot's house, that surrounded Lot's house, that were trying to break in and bust in the door. Every single one of those homosexuals, blind. Every single one of those child molesters, blind. Every single one of those sexual predators and sexual deviants and rapists and child molesters and perverts, just like that, blind. Imagine being able to see your entire life and never having a problem walking down the street, and all of a sudden, as you're about to cross the street, you close your eyes and you open them again and you see absolutely nothing. Keep going.
Sir.
Focus on.
Both small and great, so that they wearied themselves to find the door.
So both old men became blind. The young men became blind. The men who were strong became blind. The men who were weak became blind. The men who were homo thugs became blind. The men who were dressed like Tyler Perry Madea became blind.
Right.
Those effeminate men that talk with a high-pitched voice and like to switch back and forth like a woman became blind. All those sexual deviants and sexual predators in the LGBT community that surrounded Lot's house all became blind. And now they're struggling to see. They're groping away at noonday because they're blind. Even though there could be the sun could be out and they still wouldn't be able to see. But it's midnight. It's dark. And they're blind, so they can't even see regardless if the sun was out. They're all panicking. They're all worried. They're all slowly and surely trying to find their way around because they can no longer see. These homosexuals cannot see. These transgenders cannot see. These lesbians cannot see. These sexual deviants and disgusting sexual predators and filthy, vile child molesters and rapists, they can't see. Keep going.
With blindness, both small and great, so that they wearied themselves to find the door. 12. And the men said a lot. Hast thou here any besides, son-in-law, and thy sons and thy daughters, and whatsoever thou hast in the city, bring.
And these two men are telling you have any belongings here that you value. Do you have any family members here? Do you have loved ones? Everything you love and cherish, gather them all together so we can leave. So we can get out of this disgusting, vile, wicked, evil place called Sodom and Gomorrah. Just like in the I.S.U.P.K, us men and women, we pray that the Lord sends back our King Yahushua, who you know as Christ, to lead us out of this filthy, disgusting, wicked, vile, evil, homosexual, transgender, lesbian-ridden country and cities that are inside this America out. We pray to leave. These two men are trying to get Lot and his family and loved ones out of this city. Keep going.
For we will destroy this place.
What did the two men say?
We will destroy this place.
Now, how will two random men? Okay, I can understand. Maybe they know some type of trick or magic that they got these two men blind, right? You might say. But they're going to destroy this place, two men? These two strange men who I brought into my house are going to destroy all these cities? These two strange men that I fed, they're going to destroy all these cities? You start wondering that maybe these aren't just two strange men. Maybe I didn't let just ordinary men into my home. Lot let angels into his home. Lot fed angels. Lot washed the feet of angels. Lot took care of angels. Lot made beds for these two angels to rest as if they need rest. Lot protected these two angels, and he didn't know it. And now he's finding out that they're not ordinary men. He's finding out that they're angels because they have the ability to make all these disgusting LGBTQ members blind. And now they're about to destroy these cities. Keep going.
Because the cry of them is waxing great before the face of the Most High, and the Most High have sent us to destroy it.
Because the cry of this city, the pride of this city, people celebrating the fact that they're disgusting homosexuals has reached the Lord's ears, and he's disgusted and wants to destroy them. The cry and partying of lesbians has gotten the Lord's attention. All the worship of transgenders and giving transgenders like Bruce Jenner awards for being a brave woman when he's actually a man has gotten the Lord's attention. Right. And he wants to destroy that place. Right. Keep going.
Answer. Salakia. And the Most High has sent us to destroy it.
And now the Lord has sent us to destroy this place on behalf of the Lord. Because of all the wickedness that's going on in Sodom, Gomorrah, and these other cities. We're here to get rid of the LGBT community. We're here to obliterate the LGBT community. Here in 2021, the I.S.U.P.K is here to help save Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans who are in the LGBT community. To let them know that they have a chance of redemption. That what happened to them when they were young wasn't their fault. That they could correct their wrongs and be straight men and straight women. That they can stop molesting children. Right. That they can stop raping men and women. That they can stop having sex with animals. That they can act and conduct themselves as intended for a woman and Israel.
Right.
Keep going. Verse 14.
14. And Lot went out and spake unto his sons-in-law, which married his daughters.
Now Lot went outside and went to go speak to his other daughters' husbands. His other daughters that Lot has, they have husbands, and he went to go speak to their husbands. Keep going.
Sir. And said, get ye out of this place, for the Most High will destroy the city. But he seemed as one that mocked unto his sons-in-law.
And he's telling the husbands of his other daughters, listen, we got to get the hell out of here. Ever heard that saying, got to get the hell out of Dodge? Listen, Lot is telling his son-in-laws, the husbands of his other daughters, listen, pack your crap. We all got to get out of here. God is going to destroy these cities. God sent these two angels to obliterate Sodom and Gomorrah. But you know what the husbands of his daughters said? They said, no, we like it here. You're crazy, old man. You think I'm going to leave my comfy home? You think I'm going to leave my high-rise apartment building in Times Square where I get to celebrate and then party with everyone in the streets? You think I want to be away from all the parties that the LGBT community throws? You think I want to be away from all the drugs, all the alcohol? You think I want to leave this great lifestyle? I'm not gay, but goddamn, I have fun with all these homosexuals. That's what his son-in-laws are saying. And they're making fun of Lot for wanting to leave. They're making fun of Lot for believing that God was going to destroy this wonderful utopia of sex, drugs, and rock and roll and homosexuality. So they made fun of Lot. They're mocking him. They're teasing him. Keep going.
Concept. 15. And when the morning arose, then the angels hastened Lot, saying, arise, take thy wife and thy two daughters, which are here.
And in the morning time, the angels are waking up Lot and say, listen, all right, time to go. Get your wives and get your two daughters that are here with you, and it's time to boogie. It's time to get out of here. Keep going.
Lest thou be consumed in the iniquity of the city.
Otherwise, you, your wife, and your two daughters that are here with you, they're going to be destroyed. And I like to add, because of Lot's righteousness, because he had the spirit of brotherhood, right, because he was willing to sacrifice his two daughters that live with him for two strange men, his daughters were unharmed. His daughters never got violated by these sexual predators of the LGBT community. By making the most difficult decision to sacrifice his beautiful daughters, who he loves, for two strange men, the angels saved, the angels working on behalf of the Most High saved Lot, his wife, and his two daughters. And his two daughters went untouched, unharmed, because of the courageous decision and righteous decision of Lot. Keep going.
Come. Slide, man.
16.
And while he lingered, the men laid hold upon his hand, and upon the hand of his wife, and upon the hand of his two daughters.
Now Lot, living in Sodom and Gomorrah, he has his own house there. Lot can't carry everything. Right. He's like, but what about this? I'm leaving this behind. I built this house. I got all these animals. He's lingering. He's hesitating. The angel's like, listen, we got to go. They grab Lot. They grab the wife. They grab the daughters, and they out of there. Keep going.
John. The Most High being merciful unto him, and they brought him forth and set him without the city.
And because the Lord had mercy on Lot, the angels, just like that, brought Lot outside of the city, bringing and guiding him to safety. Keep going.
And it came to pass when they had brought them forth abroad, that he said, escape for thy life.
And now when they brought them out of the outskirts of the city, the angels turned and told Lot, now run for your life. Run like your life depended on it. Run for the hills. Run as far as you can and don't stop running. And when you just keep running, And when your legs get hurt, when your legs get tired, still keep on running. Don't stop running even when you get tired. Keep going.
Look not behind thee.
What?
Look not behind thee.
And don't turn around. Don't look back. There's nothing here for you. Don't concern yourself with what's happening behind you. Just look forward and keep running. Run and don't look back. You ever heard that before? Run and don't look back. That's what these are telling Lot. You have now escaped the LGBT community. You have now escaped the violence of the LGBT community. Escape the destruction that God is bringing upon the LGBT community. Run and don't look back.
Right.
Want to say something?
You
sure?
Yeah.
Okay. Keep going.
Look not behind thee, neither stay thou in all the plain.
Don't look back and don't stay in the countryside. Don't stay in the plains of Sodom and Gomorrah and all these other cities. It's not safe here. Keep going.
Escape to the mountain.
What?
Escape to the mountain.
Run to the hills.
Right. Escape to the mountain.
Run to those mountains over there. That's where you'll be safe. Keep going.
Lest thou be consumed.
Otherwise, if you stay here, you're going to die.
Right.
If you stay by that river, you're going to die. If you stay in the countryside, you're going to die. If you stay in the plains, if you stay in the fields, you're going to die. If you go back, you're going to die. The only safe place for you, your wife, and your 2 daughters is if you go and hide in those hills. If you go and hide in those mountains. Go find yourself a cave. Go find yourself someplace safe in those mountains and stay there. That's where you'll be safe. Otherwise, you will be consumed. You will be dead. You will be destroyed. You'll be obliterated with Sodom and Gomorrah, those homosexuals and lesbians and transgenders, and the rest of those disgusting cities and Hamites, Africans. Keep going.
And Lot said unto them, oh, not so, my Lord.
Oh, no, not so. Not the mountains. We won't be destroyed. I don't think we will be destroyed. Do you really think we're going to be destroyed? Keep going.
Behold, now thy servant hath found grace in thy sight.
Look, I'm so happy that me and my family have found mercy in the sight of the Lord, in the sight of you angels. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Now when you're overthinking someone, you're like, thank you, 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 thank you. You know, you needed $600 to pay your rent. Someone gives it to you, you're like, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. This is what Lot's doing. He's like, thank you. Listen, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Keep going.
And thou hast magnified thy mercy, which
and all the things you've done have magnified the mercy of the Lord being shown through you 2 angels. Keep going.
Which thou hast showed unto me in saving my life.
Since you saved my life. Keep going.
And I cannot escape to the mountain.
I can't go to the mountains. It's going to get dark soon. What am I going to do? I don't know what's in the mountains. There could be lions, tigers, and bears in the mountains. Keep going.
Lest some evil take me and I die.
I might go to the mountains with my families and something evil might happen and we all die. Right. I don't want to go to the mountains. I don't know what's there. Right. Keep going.
20. Behold, now the city is near to flee unto, and it is a little one.
Look, there's a city right over there that we can run to. It's a small city. No, we can run over there. Keep going.
And oh, let me escape thither. Is it not a little one? And my soul shall live.
Please allow me and my family to go there so we can be safe. We know it's a city. We know we can find a place to rent. Right. We know we can get some food there. We can be safe for the day, for the night. Please let us go over there so we can live. Because we're gonna die if we go to those mountains.
22. It's like 21. And he said unto him, see, I have accepted thee concerning this thing, that I will not overthrow the city for the which thou hast spoken. Now the angels speaking on the Lord's behalf are saying, you know what? Okay, we'll allow you to go to the city, right? We'll allow you to go there because you're worried about your safety. He doesn't really have trust that the Lord will protect him no matter where he goes, right? We won't overthrow this city. We won't destroy this city. Keep going. for the which thou hast spoken. 22. Haste thee.
What?
Haste thee.
Hurry up.
Escape thither.
Hurry up and go there now.
For I cannot do anything till thou be come thither.
Because we can't do what the Lord sent us to do until you go over there, until you get to safety. We can't do our duty of obeying the Lord and destroying Sodom and Gomorrah and all those filthy, disgusting LGBTQ members that live in Sodom and Gomorrah until you reach safety. And the reason why that is because, again, Abraham was with Lot growing up. That's his nephew. He helped show him how to keep the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. He raised him that way, right? So the Lord is having mercy on Abraham by saving Lot and his family. Keep going.
Concept. The city was called Zoar. Verse 23. The sun was risen up upon the earth when Lot entered into Zoar.
And as Lot is going to the city of Zoar, it's nighttime. So the moment he reaches the gate, the moment he enters the city, keep going. Let's put the phone down, right?
Concept. Then the Most High rained upon Sodom and upon Gomorrah, brimstone and fire from the Most High out of heaven.
Read that again.
Then the Most High rained upon Sodom and upon Gomorrah.
Then the Lord rained upon Sodom and Gomorrah. As soon as the sun started to rise up, when Lot is crossing the threshold into the city of Zoar, the Lord rained on Sodom and Gomorrah. He didn't let, it wasn't a drizzle. It wasn't a downpour rain, right? It wasn't, a light thunderstorm. Keep going.
God. Salakia.
Brimstone.
Brimstone and
It was
fire.
what?
Brimstone and fire.
The Lord rained brimstone and fire. Now, Abadi, what does brimstone mean for the people so they can understand what's actually happening?
What is that? You asking like, what does that mean?
Yeah, Google it.
Oh, brimstone. Okay.
When we don't know something, we look it up. Some of you probably never heard of the word brimstone before. We're going to get it for you right now.
A bright yellow, no. It's sulfur.
Sulfur, right? Anything else?
Hold on, let me get yeah, basically sulfur.
No, many things can cause sulfur when it's burning. Right?
Salaki, 1 second, let me get the actual biblical.
Go ahead.
Salaki, bear with me in 1 second.
No problem. The Lord is raining brimstone and fire. Now, in your mind, close your eyes, right? And picture brimstone and fire. Balls of fire coming down from heaven. You got it?
Probably feminine of 1613. Gaparya, properly cypress resin, by analogy sulfur as equally inflammable. Something that easily burns.
Yes. Right? So the Lord is spewing down all this material to destroy and burn and obliterate. To help you understand it better, the Lord just sent down meteorites on fire. The Lord just sent down asteroids. The Lord just sent down something that's causing a nuclear explosion. Right?
Yeah.
Think about that, a nuclear explosion. Right? Think of the Moab bomb that what Trump had, the mother of all bombs. Think of a humongous bomb falling from the sky. Think of asteroids all falling from the sky on fire, exploding when they touch the ground. The Lord is destroying, obliterating, desecrating, eradicating the cities of the city Sodom and Gomorrah and the other cities. He's wiping out the LGBT community that are there in those cities. All those sexual deviants, gone. All those sexual predators, gone. All those rapists, gone. All those child molesters, gone. All those homosexuals, gone. Transgenders, gone. Lesbianism's gone. Cross-dressers, gone. Every single person and member of the LGBT community that were living in Sodom and Gomorrah and those other cities, gone. Every person who wasn't part of the LGBT community that was still living there in sin, gone. The Lord obliterated and wiped off the face of the earth Sodom, Gomorrah, and all those other cities. All those people that were there, gone. Keep going.
John, I just wanted to, I did a little more digging on the brimstone. The word resin. Resin's like a type of dew. It's like a sticky paste, similar to the sternos, like what that's from. And it's like basically it's insoluble with water. So meaning whatever was raining down, even if you try to like douse it with water, it's not going to do
What it means is it doesn't mix well with water. That
right.
Water won't put it out. Think about Greek fire, how almost nothing can put it out. The mysterious Greek fire, it'll just keep burning. Whatever was falling from the sky was on fire, and whatever it touched, it just started to spread more fire. Burn and burn and burn and burn. Just keep that image in your head. Whatever was coming from the sky just kept burning. Everything it touched, it burned.
Right.
And the fires grew. Everything it hit, it exploded and spread the fire more and more. The fire just grew. Destruction just grew. Right? Keep going. Verse 25.
John, sir. And those cities.
The Lord destroyed those cities. Keep going.
And all the plains.
And the plains, the fields, the countrysides, the Lord destroyed that too.
And all the inhabitants of the city.
The LGBT community.
And all the inhabitants of the inhabitants of the city.
The homosexuals.
And all the inhabitants of the city.
The transgenders and lesbians.
And all the inhabitants of the city.
The child molesters, the sexual predators, the sexual deviants, the rapists, the animal humpers, right? All of them. Keep going.
And that which grew upon the earth.
And every single living thing that grew, the grass, the flowers, the trees, the grapevines, the orange trees, the apple trees, everything in the city, outside the city, in the fields, in the countryside, everything destroyed. Keep going.
John. Salakia. But his wife looked back from behind him, and she became a pillar of salt.
The angels instructed Lot and his family, run and don't look back. Because if you do, you'll be destroyed. And look it. A woman, it's always a damn woman supporting the LGBT community. It's always a woman feeling sorry for the LGBT community. It's always a woman feeling sorry and accepting her gay son or her gay daughter or her transgender son or transgender daughter. It's always the woman being so weak that she gives in. And his wife, Lot's wife, gave in. And she wanted to look back. She must have felt some type of pity, like mothers do for their gay sons or gay daughters. She looked back, and you know what? She was turned to a pillar of salt. She was turned to sand where she stood. Ever seen a nuclear explosion, how everything just turns black? You have the images of people, their shadows cast against the wall, burnt onto the wall. That's what happened to his wife. She was burnt to a crisp. She was utterly destroyed right there in the spot, mid-walk, mid-look back, gone, destroyed. Keep going.
Colin Johnson. 27. And Abraham gave up early in the morning.
This heckler, is it on YouTube or Facebook?
YouTube.
See what this heckler says. It could be a homosexual, you know?
Mm-hmm.
This heckler could be a homosexual.
Johnson.
It says, free and save Palestine. Listen, I hope the so-called fake Jew in Israel and you Arab babies in Palestine destroy each other.
Right.
because you both support homosexuality. You both live in Israel and like to walk around with your homo pride, right? And those gay colors that represents the Lord's promise not to flood the earth again. But you all go celebrate it in your sexual deviancy, right? Let Palestine burn. Let the state of Israel burn for all your sexual deviancies, for you all being homosexuals, for you Arabs in Palestine thinking that you belong and that the land belongs to you when it doesn't, for all you so-called fake Jews, you Jewish people over there, for being such sexual deviants and sexual predators and monsters, thinking that you're the real Jews, fighting with the so-called Arabs, murdering each other. Let the Lord have you rain brimstone and fire on each other for all the crimes that you both have done to the real Jews of God, to the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, where we can't go back to our homeland. Let free Palestine destroy itself and destroy the state of Israel. All right? For Freddie Silver, yes, we know that you like wet men's rod. You go ahead and you suck on men's rod and you take men's rod up your behind. Listen, do what you want to do. Because at the end of the day, you'll find out the consequences of sucking on men's rod. You'll find out the consequences of taking another man's rod up your behind. Like who willingly, what man? Only a weak man bends over, spreads his butt cheeks, and lets another man penetrate his anus and has pleasure in doing that. That's disgusting. You go ahead and you enjoy your wet rod. Go ahead, live your life to the fullest. Don't worry about us. You can leave this YouTube channel. You don't have to be here, just as long as you know you're going to die for being a homosexual. And it's because God is going to be the one to bring about your death. Who else is on here trolling the priest of the Lord? Just y'all two, Freddie Silva and free Palestine. Yeah, y'all can all destroy. Y'all can both destroy each other. You free Palestine can bend over and let this Freddie Silva insert his rod into you. Freddie Silva, you can suck on the rod of this free and save Palestine. Go right ahead. I don't care. Let's keep going.
John, sir. And Abraham gave up early in the morning.
Nope, go. Yeah, sorry, keep going.
To the place where he stood before the Most High.
And Abraham, wherever he was, got up and went to go to the place where he worships the Lord and talks to the Lord. Keep going.
28, and he looked towards Sodom and Gomorrah.
And Abraham turns in the direction where he knows that Sodom and Gomorrah would be. Just like every morning when I wake up, I can turn and face the direction of the east, where I know Jerusalem would be, where I know the river of the Hudson Valley would be, the Hudson River would be. I can turn in any direction and know what is in that general direction. Keep going.
And toward all the land of the plain, and behold, and lo, the smoke of the country went up as the smoke of a furnace.
And he's looking in the direction of Sodom and Gomorrah, and he sees smoke coming from the plains, coming from the fields, the countrysides, coming from where the cities would be. Keep going.
It went up as the smoke of a furnace. 29. And it came to pass when the power destroyed the cities of the plain, that the power remembered Abraham and Lot out of the midst of the overthrow.
Now, while Abraham is looking at all this destruction, as I watch the news and I see that the Israeli government has now started to bomb Gaza again, read how the Arabs in Gaza and the West Bank are now sending rockets over again.
Right.
I'm going to see this, and then I'm going to know that I'm going to remember that God said that if Israelites obeyed him, that our enemies will be the Lord's enemies. So these two nations of people will destroy each other. They will fight each other. They will cause death to each other. And just right here, as we're reading, the Lord reminded Abraham, listen, remember, you wanted me to save Lot. Right. You said there might be people living in Sodom and Gomorrah that are worthy of my mercy. Remember we talked about this, Abraham. Well, guess what? I went and I saved Lot. Lot is saved because of you, Abraham, because of your obedience to me, because of your righteousness, because of everything you do that I tell you to do, and you do it willingly. I saved your nephew Lot. Keep going.
And sent Lot out of the midst of the overthrow, when he overthrew the cities in the which Lot dwelt. And Lot went up out of Zoar.
Stop. We can drop that. So these cities, Sodom, Gomorrah, all the other homosexual cities, right, were all destroyed because of the LGBT community that ran rampant inside of Sodom, Gomorrah, and the other cities. All the sexual predators, all the sexual deviants, all the child molesters, all the rapists, right? All the transgenders and lesbians and homosexuals were all destroyed. All the people that were part of the gay straight alliance destroyed. Everyone and every animal, every insect and every living creature and thing that grew, all destroyed because of the wickedness, the vile, evil, wicked acts of the LGBT community, right?
Right.
That's who got destroyed inside of Sodom and Gomorrah. Drop that, and go. I think it's in the book of Revelations, where it talks about the lust of the eyes, the lust of the flesh, and the pride of and the pride. I'm forgetting what scripture that is. Let me look it up real quick. I think it's in Revelations or Romans.
First John
2 and 16.
YAHANNA.
Yeah, Boksha. Read that, Boksha.
That's First John 2 and 16. For all that is in the world.
For all that is in the world. Every man, woman, and child that's living in this world. Everything that's a part of this world that you see around you. Keep going.
The lust of the flesh.
The lust of the flesh. You know what homosexuals have? They have lust of flesh. Gay men lust and crave and desire to have a men's rod in their mouth. Gay men love, desire, and desperately want another man to put their rod in his behind and for them to put his rod in their behind. This is what gay men want, the lust of the flesh. You know what lesbians want? Lesbians want to lay a woman down, spread her legs open, and lick all over her vagina, suck all over her breast. They want to put a strap on and have sex with another woman, pretending to be a man, and pretend that they feel pleasure through a false penis that they strapped on. That's the lust of the flesh that lesbians have. You know what transgenders have? They have the lust of the flesh because how can you, a man sees a woman and says, I want to have breasts just like that woman. I don't want my penis anymore. I want to cut it off so I can have a vagina and play with myself. That's the lust of a transgender. A woman who wants to be a man, she goes, these big breasts that the Lord gave me, I don't want them. I want to cut them off so I can look flat-chested like a man, so I can look strong like a man. A man has a penis, I want that. I desperately want my own penis so I can touch it and play with it and have sex with other women with it. That's the lust of the flesh that these sexual deviants have. Want to say something?
Now, I'm saying in the case of lesbians, like, regardless of what she does to herself, she still wants to be treated like a woman, though. Like, I can't put hands on her. The minute I, as a man, try to put hands on a lesbian, not me specifically saying I put hands on a woman, but I've seen a sister who was a full-on dyke, like twice my goddamn size, like really turn into a girl, like, yo, how you hit a girl like that? Like, I thought you were a dude, like, you so tough and all that, until a real man shows you what a man is like.
Correct. Right? That's the lust of the flesh.
Right.
Keep going.
And the lust of the eyes.
And you know what? The lust of the eyes, that's that little boy watching porn and watching a man have sex with a woman. He's seeing a man fully erect having sex with a woman. He's becoming attracted to both that man and that woman. Next thing you know, he's watching gay porn, and his eyes are increasing that desire and lust in him. He's watching these two men with full-on erections having sex with each other, sucking on each other's penises. This little girl watching porn for the first time, watching her older sister and her boyfriend having sex. She's watching a man erect and a woman having sex, and she's getting turned on by watching the whole thing. Next thing you know, she's getting turned on by watching two men have sex. She's getting turned on by watching two women have sex. You know what? That little boy grows up and says, man, that woman, man, I wish I had breasts like her. That little girl grows up and goes, damn, I wish I was strong and muscular and had a penis like that man. That's that lust of the eyes. You want to say something? No? That's the lust of the eyes. Keep going.
And the pride of life.
The what?
The pride of
life. The
life.
LGBT community.
The pride of life.
Being a homosexual.
The pride of life.
Being a lesbian.
The pride of life.
Being a transgender.
The pride of life.
Being a child molester, rapist, sexual deviant, sexual predator.
The pride of life.
The month of June is dedicated to what?
The pride of life.
Not just any life. A gay life. A homosexual life. A lesbian life. A transgender life. A rapist. The life of a rapist. The life of a sexual deviant. The life of a sexual predator. The pride of life. That's what the disgusting LGBT community has. The pride of life. The violence that goes in and runs rampant in the LGBT community. They're prideful and full of pride to cause violence onto straight men and women. They have so much pride of being a sexual deviant and a disgusting sexual predator and monster that they want straight men and women to accept them. They will want to force straight men and women to be gay and lesbian just like them. If you don't accept them, they will cause violence onto you because of how much pride they have in being in the LGBT community. So much pride of life, of their gay life, of their lesbian life, of their transgender life. They have so much pride going against God. They have so much pride being part of the LGBT community that they will cause violence onto anyone that does not accept them, that does not want to associate with them. So much so they will bully you into accepting you. They will bully legislation to pass laws to force you to accept them. They will bully employment to force employers to accept them, protect them, and not you. They will bully child protective services to allow gay men and women and transgenders to adopt little children to make them gay, lesbian, and transgender. They will bully you, cause violence to you until you accept the people of the LGBT community. You want to say something?
I was going to say, there was that whole big case when they first made the
Yes, speak up, Shah.
There was this whole big case when they first gave them the right to quote-unquote marry. A cat, devil down in one of these like Republican states tried to fight against it, and they took it all the way to the Supreme Court. Supreme Court said, no, your religious belief. You believing that a gay person shouldn't marry doesn't stop you as a clerk of the court from signing the paperwork through. Because that's what she was trying to argue. She's saying, well, it's against my religious beliefs to have anything to do with the homosexual union.
But she's not acting upon her religious beliefs then. She's acting upon her duties of that office.
Right.
What she should have done was quit. That's all.
Mind you, the devil, but...
Listen, devils can sometimes do the right thing too.
Right.
All you so-called white people, you can stop promoting homosexuality.
Right.
All you so-called Africans and Arabs and Asians, you can do the right thing for once in your life and stop supporting the LGBT community.
Right.
Just like all you so-called black, so-called Hispanic, so-called Native Americans, do the right thing. Leave the LGBT community alone. Right. Leave the gay straight alliances that you join. Do the right thing. Go to 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 9. Because I got news for all you homosexuals and lesbians and transgenders. There's a news flash for you, right? Newsflash. God doesn't love you and you will not go into heaven.
Right.
Jesus doesn't love you and he's not coming to save you when he comes back. All you members of the LGBT community, you will not go into the kingdom of heaven. Here's the proof.
Salakia. This is 1 Corinthians 6 and 9. Know ye not that the unrighteous shall not inherit the kingdom of heaven?
Read it again.
Know ye not that the unrighteous,
The what?
The unrighteous,
Homosexuals,
the unrighteous,
lesbians,
the unrighteous,
transgenders,
the unrighteous,
sexual predators,
the unrighteous,
sexual deviants,
unrighteous,
rapists and child molesters, and people who like to sleep with animals,
unrighteous,
all you sinners in the LGBT community, you are righteous. Keep going.
Shall not enter the kingdom of God.
Shall not what?
Shall not enter the kingdom of
God. If you are in the LGBT community, just know you will what?
Not enter the kingdom of God.
If you are part of the gay straight alliance, what will happen?
Not inherit the kingdom of God. So
none of you, that's okay. None of you will enter the kingdom of God for being in the LGBT community, for supporting the LGBT community. My mother, my father, my brothers, your mother, your father, your brothers, your cousins, your aunts, whoever it is, if they support the LGBT community,
shall not inherit the kingdom of God.
If they are part of the LGBT community,
shall not inherit the kingdom of God.
None of you will go into heaven. Because God does not like the sin, just like he does not like the sinner. And all you sinners will not enter the kingdom of God if you keep sinning. All the sins you keep doing and engaging in the LGBT community and not repenting from them is the reason why what?
Shall not enter the kingdom of God.
Keep going.
Be not deceived.
Don't be fooled. Don't let the Catholic Church lie to you. Don't let the Christian church lie to you. Don't let the Islam lie to you. Don't let your mom lie to you. Don't let your aunt lie to you. Don't let the LGBT community lie to you and console you and say it's okay if you like to suck rod if you're a man. Don't let the other members of the LGBT community and say it's okay if you want to be a woman but you were born as a man. Don't let them lie to you that a man can be a woman and receive a Brave Woman of the Year award. Don't let them. Don't be deceived. Keep going.
Neither fornicators,
people who have unlawful, unrighteous sex,
nor idolaters,
those who worship other gods. In this case, those who worship the LGBT community. Those men who worship and like to suck on other men's rods. Those women who worship and suck on other women's breasts and lick their vaginas. Those people in the LGBT community who worship the opposite sex and want to transform like Optimus Prime and Megatron to be the opposite sex. Keep going.
Nor adulterers.
Nor those who sleep with wives who already have husbands. Nor those women who already have a husband and want to sleep with another man that's not their husband.
Salah.
Pay attention now.
Concept. Nor effeminate.
Homosexuals are what?
Nor effeminate.
Transgender men who want to be women are what?
Nor effeminate.
Women who like women are?
Nor effeminate.
Women who want to be a man are?
Nor effeminate.
Sexual deviants are?
Nor effeminate.
Sexual predators are?
Nor effeminate.
Child molesters are?
Nor effeminate.
Listen, all you rapists are?
Nor effeminate.
All you people in the LGBT community, you are effeminate. And it says, nor effeminate, nor people who are effeminate, you won't go into the kingdom of heaven. There's no door for you. Christ is not going to be there welcoming you. Christ is not going to let a homosexual into his kingdom. God won't allow Christ to accept homosexuals into his kingdom. Christ knows better to let homosexuals into his kingdom. Keep going.
Concept. Nor abusers of themselves with mankind.
And none of you men who like to sleep with men. None of you women who like to sleep with women. None of you men who turn into women to sleep with men and to sleep with other women. None of you women who turn into a man just to sleep with other men and women. None of you sexual predators, none of you pedophiles, none of you rapists, child molesters. None of you will enter into the kingdom of heaven. And with that, I'm Priest and Officer Ashagapan of the I.S.U.P.K. Started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General YAHANNA. Today's Wednesday, the law class, and we are destroying Pride Month in 2021. We're exposing the violence that runs rampant in the LGBT community. You should not be proud to be a violent member of the LGBT community. And for all you so-called Black, so-called Hispanic, so-called Native Americans, stay away from the LGBT community because they are violent. For those of you in the LGBT community, stop being violent. Stop being bullies just because we won't accept you. How about you do the righteous thing and stop sucking on other men's rods? Stop trying to be a transformer. Stop trying to be a woman. Stop trying to sleep with other women. And with that, shalom. Cut the beat.